Hey guys, so here we are. It's time to do another line drawing using posterizing and using an image that we are then going to reproduce, but only with a certain number of values. Okay, so there's that word again, values, and that's really what we're looking at, as well as ways to represent different values using different kinds of textures and line techniques. So for this picture, you're going to use a portrait. It could be a self-portrait. It could be a photograph of somebody else. I've chosen an image of my baby daughter, Julia. It's this one right here, and I love this picture. And so there's just a couple of things we need to do before we can get ready. And this time, it's going to be easier because we're tracing the image using the pencil first, okay? So I am going to first make this black and white. And to make it black and white, you need to go to Adjustments and Hue and Saturation. Okay, these are color adjustments, basically. And hue is a way of changing color cast, which is pretty creepy. I don't think I'll be using that. Saturation will boost up the vibrancy of the different colors, and I am going to be using that, but first I'll show you lightness and dark. Okay, something else we don't really need. This picture doesn't need it. Maybe you have one that is too dark and you could use a little bit of that, but really we're here for saturation. If we take the saturation down, you can see the color starts to drain out of this image until you go all the way down, and it's just a black and white image. And I'm going to say apply. And then I'm going to do the posterizing again. Okay, so again, you go to Adjustment and Posterize. And let's see how many colors it takes to do this well. I'm going to try to do this. So there's one color besides black. It's kind of an awesome image. Almost like startling. 2 is much less, I think, much less cool than 1. We start to get 2 layers of gray, or 1 gray and then black. And here we have the number 3, so we have 2 grays and black. And then here's 4 and 5. I'm going to go with 4. You can go with 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't go under 4, because then there's just not enough different values to give you much of a challenge. This right here is pretty big on my screen. You have a slider here for what kind of magnification you want, right? So I'm going to say apply with 4, and then I'm going to change my magnification from what was 42%, that's because this was a large image. I'm going to go about here, 30%. I'm going to do exactly the size by tracing it first. So to do that, I hit record over here on my iPhone. So I'm going to get some tape. Put a piece of paper right over this image. Okay, the tape is just there to hold stuff in place. Try not to use, some kind of tape that's going to ruin your screen. Thicker paper will give you an image that's a little bit harder to see, but this paper is pretty thick and this will work. So now I'm just going to do basic outlines, not too carefully, and I may miss some stuff which I can then add later, but for now I'm just going to try to gently outline what I see here and the outlines of the different areas. So there's a lighter area right in here and a darker area right here where the eyebrows are. Now I may not see all the details. I'm going to find places where I didn't get some of these details right once I actually take this paper away. Okay, Any big areas that I missed? I don't think so. I am going to need to go back up and do the hair because I'm sure I didn't get details there. And maybe stuff around the ears, eyes. And let's take a look. See what it looks like. Pretty interesting. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on putting in some of these values. Okay, so I'm just going to start filling this in with the dark. Even though in the actual image it is kind of a mix of light and dark, I'm just going to simplify it here and make this all very dark. Don't worry if what you're doing isn't quite as neat. I have some experience doing cross-hatching like this, these little lines, hatching and cross-hatching. Erasing, erasing. Hopefully not erasing too much with the pen. Sometimes a really strong eraser will erase pen marks too. And the final result kind of cool.